Hello and welcome to the Spa Business Mastery Podcast. I am Kirsten Foss. If we have not met before, or if this is the first time that you're listening, I am really glad that you're here because that likely means that you are a beauty or wellness entrepreneur or leader or wannabe leader entrepreneur, and you've got questions about marketing. So let's get into it because it's one of those things where if you are a new entrepreneur in this industry, we we typically don't think about the marketing first. And it's only when we've been in business for a few months, maybe up to a year, where all of a sudden, I thought I could just build it and they will come. And what you're noticing now is that that is not the case at all. You've created a business that you love, you're super passionate about. You really got into this business because you have a very deep purpose to serve the people in your community in a really impactful way. It happens to be through, whatever beauty services that you're offering or wellness services, massage, energy work, that kind of thing. So that's what I know for sure about you is that you are wanting more information about how to make yourself more marketable, how to get your ideal clients looking at your business and choosing your business. And so this topic came up because, I mean, we could talk about marketing and spa business marketing and wellness and entrepreneur marketing and all that kind of stuff for days and days. It's a huge topic. It's actually one of the topics that are most popular with my podcast. Anytime we've done marketing, they're always really popular. And so what that tells me is that a lot of you are, although you have, a great business offer, like great services to offer, you're not really reaching the people that you hope to be reaching. And that also means for your cash flow, you're a struggling, and, if we don't have cash flow, we kind of don't have a business, right? And so we want to get past this, for those of you that are just getting started, we want to get past this kind of hobby-ish phase that you're in and really dial into your market positioning to make sure that it is really well done and that it attracts those clients that you want. So this topic came up because actually I was scrolling through social media, and in one of my community groups here where I live in Vancouver Island, a a spa owner, an aesthetics business owner posted anonymously. I can totally see why, because what she was posting is she was struggling with getting enough bookings into her business. She was asking the community, like, what do you look for when you are looking for a spa to go to? And I think that was a really great question. And I think it was very brave to post that in our community. And so, a lot of answers that came back, a lot of our community just assume when she says spa that it means massage. So a lot of people were, making comments about, if you had registered massage therapy, that direct bill, that would make it a lot easier for me to go. Um, I was also hearing, cost is an issue, is why people are not choosing to go to a spa. And so, especially the cost, that thing that really gets, you know, when you hear that as an entrepreneur, that can trigger a lot of feels and a lot of scarcity feels. And then there's the tendency to think, oh, maybe I need to adjust my pricing. Maybe I need to, like, you start making these decisions based on prices and money. And I want to share with you that's not the place that we want to start, because it's actually blowing past your actual market positioning. So, your market positioning is like how you are positioned in the marketplace in your area. And so you likely have competition. And if there's more of you, it means that more facilities need to get really, really clear on their market positioning so that it's clear to the consumer what is different about you compared to the other spa or wellness facility down the street. And so this is one of those big places where, beauty and wellness entrepreneurs, they really just don't know what they don't know. I mean, we all got in this business because we love, sharing our skill set with clients. And the skill set was not marketing. So, yeah, we don't love marketing, but we do have to come to terms with it. And when we can get clear on our market positioning, man, it makes marketing way, way, way easier. So, let's get into this topic a little bit more deeply. And for you to understand how market positioning works, it's not just about pricing, it's not just about demographics or psychographics. So demographics are like age, gender, uh, where they live, how much money they earn. Psychographics are more about their behaviors. So traditionally in marketing, those are what we have to work with, demographics, psychographics, and kind of what we want to do. But there's some other adjustments here that I will get into in a little bit. But first, I think I want to kind of dive in and share a little bit more about market positioning. So, when we define it, the boring definition is the boring definition, but essentially it's how you stand out in a crowded market. It's clear messaging from your marketing. So the copy that you're writing, it lands super clearly with that ideal client that you want, and they understand that you are speaking to them. And then they make choices based on that. Your market positioning attracts not only your ideal client, but if you've been listening to me for a little bit here, I've also been talking about your soulmate client. And your soulmate client is like your ideal client plus all the energetics added to it, like all the things that you don't know about your ideal client. When you know your soulmate client, it reveals, like kind of pulls back the curtain to see what their own strengths are. So you can speak to their strengths, but you can also speak to what they're struggling with. I don't want to give away too much, but I'll explain a little bit more. But essentially, when you've got a strong market positioning, it attracts your soulmate client, not just your ideal client. It simplifies your marketing efforts because when you know how to communicate, it's just so much easier to create your marketing strategy and then create content from there out. Even if you have outsourced your social media or your email marketing to somebody, when you have clear market positioning, you would share that with your marketing team, and they're able to very clearly create copy that is in alignment with your market positioning. When you are really well positioned, your brand is really well understood. Consumers in the community know exactly what you offer, and the flavor or the influence or kind of your special secret sauce to that. You have pricing power when you are much stronger positioned in the community. So if you are really strongly positioned and you've got a good business going on and people are booking, you have more confidence to raise your rates. You have more confidence to add more maybe advanced treatments because you're getting your data shows that you're busy enough. Your data also shows that your consumers and your clients want those kinds of things. So everything just gets more clear. Competition does not bother you when you're positioned right. Doesn't matter. Uh, you know, there's room for all of us for the most part. I would say the only space where I'm kind of like, man, I'm not sure if everybody has the option and opportunity, but not everybody who opens a business deserves to stay into business. And that more goes into their habits and how aware they are. And if you're not very aware of, kind of your business and you've got poor entrepreneurial habits and you're not willing to be coachable, even if you're just trying to find the stuff online and social, on blogs and podcasts, lots of people do that. But if you are one of those people that, just want to open a business because you want to make some money and you want to do what you want to do, and, you get kind of cranky when things don't go your way and you're unwilling to look at how you've been impacting your business, those are the people that I feel like, it's time to wake up and get with the program. And if you're not willing to wake up and get with the program in a really positive way, then, maybe this isn't the right thing for you. Maybe you just don't have maybe it's just not for you. And that's totally okay. not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur. It's a tough gig. In fact, there's been plenty of times where I really would have wished that I could have been happy being an employee, because that would have really made things a whole lot easier. So I digress a little bit of a little ranty there, but you don't have competition if you're really clearly positioned in your marketing. You know exactly who your ideal client is and all the things. And really, finally, it really means that you are super aligned with your vision and where you're going. So this all sounds really wonderful, but like, okay, how do we do this? And I need a little bit more information for understanding this market positioning thing. So, we really do have to pay attention to this term market positioning because it makes a difference. It makes a difference for you if you are struggling with your business and trying to, get more bookings and have the client retention that we really need. It's also so important for us to get our market positioning right if we're bootstrapping our business. And bootstrapping just means that you are self-funding yourself and there's not a lot of money to do it. So essentially, you're like kind of generating a little bit of money in order to kind of play with it in terms of your business and spend it in your business. But like maybe you probably don't have a big budget to do paid ads. So for those businesses that have that kind of budget to do paid ads, they can ramp up their business a lot quicker than you can without doing paid ads. So, if you need an edge to your marketing and you can't afford to do paid ads, then really diving deep into understanding your own market positioning and how you can improve it is literally like the key for you to unlock what the paid ads people can have. It's going to take more work in terms of marketing for you, but it's definitely possible. It's just about getting clear. Because when you're clear, you then start building this solid foundation based on like a really real and true ideal client, not one that you're like, oh, I want them to be making, at least $150,000 income. And, I want them to buy my products when I recommend it. And I want them to book services in when I recommend it. That's not demographics and psychographics. That's just kind of a wish list that you want. So, um, figuring out this market positioning thing and your ideal client, your soulmate client, it takes some time. And this is my invitation for you to perhaps maybe September, it would be a really great time to dig into this, especially if you are a little quieter and you have some time to focus on getting your marketing a little bit more strongly positioned. So I want to share an example of market positioning that I had with a client that was so dramatic. So she had come to us, she'd come to me wanting to, I think she was looking for more clients. She couldn't kind of figure out like the marketing piece to her, but she was also shifting from more of a holistic niche. So she was a skin therapist and focused more on using Ayurvedics. And she had recently got really excited about hydrofacial. She had bought herself a hydrofacial machine and she wasn't getting very many hydrofacials. And of course, when you look at her website, it was all Ayurvedic and very energetically, like a lot of information about energetics and Ayurveda. So there really wasn't, she hadn't really positioned herself at all on her website other than to, put a service description on. But everything else felt very, you know, um, alternative holistic skin therapy. And so it was really no wonder that she was struggling for consistent bookings, especially with her new hydrofacial machine. And we all know how expensive that machine is. And so she really needed some clients in there. And the work that we did with her is we got really clear on we knew at the service, her main focus of her service was going to be hydrofacial. And then we started looking into that particular ideal client and in her area. And so I wasn't doing soulmate client work at that time. This was a couple of years ago. but we were very heavily involved in ideal client, and not just kind of the wish list ideal client, but the real client who is out there on Google searching for facials. She wanted a piece of that pie. There was lots of people in her area that were offering hydrofacials, and our job was to make sure that she could stand out in a very crowded and very noisy marketplace. So my colleague Delia and I, we did work with this particular client in, looking at the features and benefits that she wants to share with her clientele, her own magic, her own secret sauce, if you would, as far as like her own flair, her own personality. We were able to kind of pull all of that and create an ideal client. We created the features and benefits of her business based on all of that, and we built her out a new website that was very, very clear, um, in terms of like when a client or consumer goes to that page, it is really clear about who she serves and who she can help. And so the moral of the story, is that 10 months after we got her new website up and running, and she was very much struggling with cash flow at the time when we did this website rehab for her. And she let us know 10 months later that she was generating $10,000 in service sales since that shift in market positioning. So she, going from, kind of like barely getting by a couple of thousand a month to consistent $10,000 months, just 10 months after that market repositioning. So it was growing, but she was so excited and wanted to share, oh my God, ladies, guess what? I had a $10,000 month. And I couldn't have done it without you guys and without this website. So that's just a little story about how that market positioning and the clarity in your messaging can make a massive impact on your cut of the pie in your area. So that was a pretty exciting time. And it really just goes for that particular client of ours. And it just goes to show you whatever you put focus to grows. And sometimes you need some support. There was no way that she could have done this on her own. She's an esthetician, not a website designer. She's an esthetician, not a marketing strategist. So I think it's also important to know like where your expertise end and where you need support from the experts. All right. So I want to talk a little bit more about, I've been kind of popping in this term soulmate client. And I want to talk about that a little bit more. What does that mean? So if you don't know already, I'm also, not only am I a spa business strategist, I've been in the spa industry, the beauty and wellness industry for 30 years now, both as a practitioner and as an owner with a team. And then I've been consulting and coaching for, oh gosh, I think since 2012, so 12 years now. And so more recently, in the past year and a half, I've become certified as a numerologist. So I'm blending in my spiritual modalities in with my business knowledge and expertise. And so what that allows me to do for myself in my business and for my clients, and those of you listening, if you're applying the energetics to your business just from the podcast, it works. I use numerology to help guide my strategy. I help guide my own leadership. I guide clients' leadership and the decisions they're making. But what it boils down to is that in numerology, everybody has what's called a ruling number or a life path number. I like to call it your leadership code because it absolutely affects how you show up in your business. And we get to that number by adding all the digits up in your birth date, and we add them up singularly. So when you do that, you come to a number, and if it's a double digit, anything that is 12 or over, a double digit, you reduce it again. So you want to come up with a single digit. Now, what this means is that we are all coded with a certain type of energy, and we have other influences to that energy. That's what numerology is all about. It's the concept that When all the babies that are born, when we come down onto this planet, on that particular day, we are coded with a certain type of energy. And that energy is essentially what we're here to learn. This is our really big picture learning. There then are other influences to your ruling number or your leadership code. But we often go with the big picture one first, and then we look at those other smaller influences that can have a big impact. Now, when it comes to soulmate client attraction, um, your your ruling number and your birth card, which is part of cardology, it's another little aspect of numerology, we are all matched up with another code. And really, this is all just about like kind of like it's like a puzzle piece. And so I have my code. So I'm a ruling number leadership code 10. It's all about innovation and fresh starts and new beginnings. It's like this wish upon a star energy. It's like daydreaming energy. It's, it really, the big picture, I've always been an innovator. I've always kind of led the way, even when I was little. So our ruling number gives us also information about what we're here to work on. So when it comes to soulmate clients, we are matching up our birth card. I'm an 8 of clubs in cardology, and we're matching it up. We have a match, like a soulmate match with that particular card. And this is where, so with my 8 of clubs in cardology, I will be able to, I am able to understand what my strengths and what my challenges are. Now, my soulmate is a 5 of hearts. And this can be like your soulmate person. This can also be your soulmate client. It's just about who am I energetically aligned to. So with your own, intimate partner, I mean, the whole soulmate concept is a huge conversation. And I also don't believe the fact that, if you have a soulmate, sometimes you have two, and that if you're not with them in this lifetime, you cannot know love. That's total garbage. It just means that if you don't have a lifetime with that particular soulmate, it's okay. It's just maybe not meant to be in this lifetime, but there will always be the very deep connection. Now, when it comes to soulmate clients, there's still that same card. We're just not in an intimate relationship with them. We are in more of a professional relationship with them, but we can still take that what we know about our soulmate energetics that we could know about our soulmate clients' energetics. So that's where the puzzle piece comes in, because my strength, as an 8 of clubs is definitely about mindset. So clubs is mindset, it's thinking, it's communication. And the 8 is like subject matter expertise, it's leadership energy. And so that's my strength, particularly mindset. And 8 is very much part of like solutions focus, like finding solutions to problems. That's very, very much me. And so with my soulmate client, who is a 5 of hearts, one of their biggest struggles, well, one of their biggest goals is freedom. That's the 5. And the heart, of course, is relationships. And yet, what I know about my soulmate client is that they want freedom. They got into their business because they wanted to feel free. They didn't want to be an employee. They had ideas for this freedom. They also, with the 5 energy, they're change makers. And they wanted to go into business for themselves to create change in their community via aesthetics or energy healing or whatever it is you do. And so I know that in my marketing that I generally would need to talk about freedom or lack of freedom. I need to talk about them being change makers and feeling unable to make the change in your community you want to make because you're cash strapped and you can't reach clients properly. And so, I mean, those are just two little small aspects, but that is the soulmate client connection. And it makes my marketing a lot easier because I know who I'm talking to. I know what their struggles are. I know what they want and wish for. I know what they pray for at 3 o'clock in the morning when they can't sleep because they're so cash strapped. They're not sure how they're going to keep going. So that's an example of soulmate client attraction is as far as just knowing who your soulmate client is and what their struggles are and knowing what your strengths are, because that is the match. Okay. So when we do understand kind of those pain points, I guess you want to call them, of our clients, I mean, we don't really want to be focusing on the negative pain points, but we, as entrepreneurs, we really do need to struggle. Really do need to understand the inner chatter that's going on in their head. When we can understand and get an idea of the inner chatter, then we can start creating like our positioning. Like, what is it about me that even though I'm doing the same facial as maybe a couple other people in this area, or even as my team, what is it about me? What is it about the vision of this business? What is it about the values of this business that is different than our competition? It doesn't mean we're better or worse. We're just different. And that's where we want to go. That's the direction we want to go on, is looking for those positive differences, those positive flavors, those positive influences from your energetic code layered into your business marketing messaging. All right. So how do we go from like, okay, I need new market positioning because I am struggling with clients in clients booking. It isn't an easy thing to figure out, and it is usually much easier to figure out with somebody, collab with somebody. So I am happy to give you a soulmate client numerology reading that will just like make it super uber clear about like who you need to be speaking to and the language that you need to be speaking with in your market positioning. But if you're not able to do that for whatever reason, then just having this awareness of, okay, what's different? Like, what's different about me? How is my take on this business just ever so slightly different than my competition? And from there, it's a matter of I would start doing like features and benefits. What do I have? Like, what are my things that I do and the flavor with which we do them with? And then what are the benefits of each of those points? So it's not like, I'm not going to just, there's nowhere where you can just like snap your fingers and like, oh, let's reposition my client positioning of my business. It usually does take some strategizing with somebody that knows how to do this. But, I also know that if you are one of my soulmate clients, that you are a smart cookie. And if you don't have the resources, that you're smart enough to go have some discipline, because if you are a 5 of hearts, if you have a 5 in your chart anywhere, sorry. I also know that discipline is a struggle. That's the hard part about that 5 energy is it's all about freedom, but it's freedom through discipline. And we all have a little bit of a, what would you call it? Some stinking thinking about the word discipline, because it has been has had a negative connotation a lot of times. But when it comes to freedom, what do you want? Like, do you really want to turn your business around? Do you really, really want to make this work? Then there's pieces of discipline that need to step up. So we're not talking about like this, just the discipline on working on your market positioning. We're talking about the discipline to look at your reports, read your reports, learn how to read your reports. There's the discipline to block off admin time and not allow like things to kind of come in and take that time up. It's having boundaries around our business. So there's lots and lots to it. All right, let me summarize here as far as market positioning. It is a very frustrating place to be in when you are not positioned correctly, or or even just by default, not positioned correctly. Super common, especially for solos that are starting on their own. Sometimes I think when you start building, if you're building a team right out of the gate, sometimes that's a little bit easier to get your positioning right. A lot of times I've noticed that spas with teams tend to invest a little bit more in terms of consulting, and having some like really strong strategy before they move forward on things. It really, really does help. Um, really, it's been a really, really long time since the whole, build it and they will come concept. I started this in this industry in my early 20s, and that was like early 90s, 1900s. Oh my God. And that was the only time. There was maybe about 5 years there that you could build it and they will come, because it was new. Consumers really didn't have the whole spa concept yet. There was mostly either the really big spas at the hotels, or there were, little small skin therapy businesses, mani-pedis, nail salons. So those days are over. It's now time for us as leaders to have a crap ton more personal awareness. It's also time to, collaborate with and get your business kind of organized, that structural foundation piece organized before, it runs on too long and you're like, oh, I'm just kind of hoping more clients come, hoping more clients come. It's, time to get into strategy, things that are actually going to work. And that kind of, that leads me to, what we're talking about. You need things that work. You need powerful ways to attract your ideal client, your soulmate client into your business. It's not a hobby. You need to make a living. I know a lot of spa owners are not pulling a paycheck. And it's time to, really solidify and how to like claim your space in your market positioning in your area. It's not as much about external factors as you would think it would be. So, right now at the time of this podcast, we are heading into August 2024. And there's lots of things going on financially. There's inflation is very high, things are expensive, rents and mortgages are very high. And you've got the US has got an election coming up soon. So there's a lot of like uncertainty right now. And when we're able to kind of pull it together in our business and get really clear on the market positioning and who our soulmate client is, so we can start speaking their language so they can recognize us in our marketing. That's what this is all about. We need to get a little bit more focused on our market positioning. So I'm hoping that if this is new information for you, that you're like, oh, okay, now I can see what's going on. It's not so much about like, what other service do I need to offer? What other products do I need to bring in to offer? Like trying to basically throwing spaghetti at the wall as far as what's going to make it so that consumers are interested in my business. It really starts at that ideal client, soulmate client, and getting that market positioning done, figured out right, so you can move forward with a lot more confidence in your marketing, and your marketing actually works. It's far, far more easeful in terms of creating your marketing strategy every month. And it's once you've got your marketing strategy done for the month, gosh, it's like you just have to implement your posting schedule. And if you have somebody that is doing that for you, that's even easier. But you've got all the strategy and you've got the marketing messaging, your brand voice, all super, super clear to attract that soulmate client. So if this is like piquing your interest and you are also quite interested in like, ooh, what is this soulmate client thing? I invite you to book a soulmate client reading for yourself, and I will also give you a report afterwards so that you have that to refer back to when you are creating your marketing strategy. All right. That's it for me for Spa Business Mastery podcast. And coming up in less than a week is we've got our September numerology business forecast. So if you like to see what's coming down the pipe in terms of energetics, what to expect energetically to be happening in your spa business and your wellness business, what you expect clients and consumers to be feeling and be activated about, then you'll definitely want to listen to the September forecast that will be posted on September 1st. Right. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am here to help. Um, please use my eight of clubs energetic brain and because that's what I love doing. It's all about finding solutions and strategizing. And for me, it's really easy. And I would love to collaborate with you on your business to find your soulmate client. All right. We'll see you at the next podcast.